Most guitarists play by ear. Playing by ear is very visual. Think of chord shapes, scale shapes. I've taken it a step further and created a visual library of riff and lick shapes to help you move beyond just chords and scales. And in this video, I'll show you a suggested learning path that's kind of similar to how I learned guitar back in the early 1970s. Imagine no internet, no computers, no videos, no tabs. How would you learn guitar? That's kind of what it was like in the early 1970s, back when I was learning. Good teachers were hard to find, most songbooks were worthless, and tab didn't really start becoming popular until the late 1970s, post-Eddie. So I learned the way most kids learned, by watching and listening, trying to copy what you saw your heroes or your friends playing. And eventually you start making connections. Oh, I saw this same lick in that other song. Oh, all these licks have the same basic underlying type of sound. Those connections were how you eventually developed a vocabulary of riffs and licks, more than just chords and scales. For me, those connections were visual, like I think they were for a lot of players back in the day. All we had was our eyes and our ears. That's how I learned, and that's how I built the app. It's all about the shapes and the sounds they make. And that's how I've created this high-level learning path that I'll tell you about in this video. I grouped the shapes into categories based on similarities in how they look, or sound, or both. This video is just for licks, lead guitar stuff. I'll have a separate learning path for riffs. And this video is just a high-level overview. In the future, I'll be coming out with a video for each step in the path. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to my channel. And be sure to check out my app on the App Store or Google Play. Hundreds of riff, lick, and chord shapes for a small one-time fee. No subscriptions, no ads. And there's a free sample version on my website. Links in the video description below. I'll start out with foundational stuff, bars and bends, because even there's sometimes more than meets the eye. Like the top two strings of this basic bar chord. Sure, it can be a simple thing, but you could do more with it. You can slide into it. Add the third string with a slide or a hammer-on. The shapes graphics in this video are from my app. They're always shown from the player viewpoint, looking down on the neck. There's a left-handed mode, too. I use 5 symbols to show common techniques. You might be wondering about double stops. I'll talk about those later in the video. Move the bar over so it covers the second and third strings, and you get this type of sound. You can play it on its own. Add the root note on the 4th string. But it's especially common to hear it with a second bar 2 frets higher. Another third string hammer-on, or bend both strings in that higher bar. The empty red circle is the root. Move it to the note that matches the chord or song key you're playing over. Those Pink Floyd examples were in B. They have a root on the 6th string. On the 6th string, a B note is here at the 7th fret. Then just place your fingers relative to the root. Click on any shape in the app to view it in color. The colors show intervals, the interval of each note in the shape relative to the root. This is the language of relative pitch, playing by ear. You don't need to understand it, and a lot of players just have an intuitive understanding of it, but it helps explain some things, like why certain notes sound good. I'll touch more on this in string bending next. Bending strings is a fundamental part of rock guitar, but it's not just the technique. It's not just how to bend, it's where to bend. Some places are a lot more common than others, like this basic 3rd string bend. You hear that all the time. But one string over on the fourth string, you hardly ever hear that. You want to learn the common bends first. They can be grouped into several categories based on where they are and what they sound like. You can get the same sound at different places on the neck. The most common are bends up to the three basic chord tones, the root, the third, and the fifth. Probably the most common bend you'll hear. You're bending a whole step from the fourth up to the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bending less than a whole step can sometimes work too for that flat fifth blue note sound. Like most bends, it's common to combine it with a lower note on the same string or a root note on an adjacent string. Now that lower note on the same string is the flat third, minor third, but it can sometimes work in major too, especially if you give it a little push up to the major third. It's most common to hear this on the third string, same place as you'd play that basic sixth string root bar chord or minor pentatonic scale shape. Third string bend. Second string bend. First string bend. Probably the second most common bend you'll hear is this whole step bend from the flat seventh to the root. Usually on the second string, at the same place you'd play this basic bar chord shape or minor pentatonic scale shape. Now, the flat seventh is in the minor pentatonic scale, but this type of bend will usually work over either major or minor. The flat seventh is so common in rock and blues. Likewise, if you add that lower note on the same string, that lower note is the fifth, neither major or minor. What sometimes won't work is if you bend less than a whole step. Kind of leaves you hanging. Finally, what some players forget is you can also play this same type of bend on the first string at the same place as you'd play this basic fifth string root bar chord. Second string bend. With a lower note on that same string. Or a first string bend. These type of bends are a bit different. You might be playing them at a different spot on the neck compared to those basic bar chords. And the note you're bending up to is the third. Remember, the third is the difference between major and minor. So you might have to be a bit more careful about how far you bend. Whole step for major, half step for minor. There's three spots on the neck you commonly hear these bends. First string bend, same place as that basic bar chord shape. Third string bend, same place as that fifth string root bar chord. Kind of move your first finger where the little bar is. But the second string bend is in between those two areas. Imagine a C-shape bar chord. First finger's on the second string. First string bend. Second string bend. Third string bend. So two really common bends here in this basic position. Bend the third string, second string. What about the first string? Yeah. But not quite as common. You're bending up to the fourth, which is not a chord tone. But it still works well, especially in the blues. And finally, don't forget you got the same type of sound, same type of bend on the second string, 5 frets higher. Favorite of Jimmy Page's. He's bending beyond a whole step. He's bending almost 2 whole steps. There's other types of bends, bending up to the sixth or even the second, but the ones we've looked at are the most common. There's also lower string bends around the nut, but those are more riff type things. I'll cover those in the learning path for riffs. Now, if all this talk about numbers and third and fifth is like, don't worry about it. Just focus on learning where the most common bends are and what sound they make. Oblique bends, a fancy name for bending a string while you're holding a note on an adjacent string. Like bends, they're a fundamental part of lead guitar in every genre, rock, blues, country. And if you know your common bends, you've got a head start, because the most common oblique bends happen at the same place on the neck. Oblique bend to the fifth. The note on the adjacent string is the flat seventh, played at the same place as these two basic bar chord and minor pentatonic scale shapes, sixth string root, and fifth string root. Second string bend. Third string bend. Or with a bar over the top two strings. Oblique bend to the third, and this usually has more of a major pentatonic type sound, usually bending to the major third. And it's usually centered around that fifth string root bar chord. Instead of A up here, I'll move it down to E at the 7th fret, a little easier to visualize. Root note is on the 5th string, 7th fret. And the second string bend happens at that same fret. You bend there at the 7th fret. The third string bend, move your first finger to where the little bar is, 9th fret. That's where you bend. And this is at the same place as that basic major pentatonic scale shape. Second string bend. Third string bend. Or with a bar over the top two strings. Finally, an oblique bend up to the root note. A bit different than the other two. You usually only hear it in this basic position. And that note on the first string is the flat third. So this has a bit more of a minor sound, although like it's common to hear it over a major chord too. This next group of licks are in this basic position, using this basic third string bend. But you keep your first finger anchored on the second string while you bend. So you get this unison bend type of sound between the third and second strings. And you often add the first string too, by barring. You could add a note on the second string using a pull-off, or without the first string. These licks outline a major or minor triad on the top two strings, usually using pull-offs. That top note on the first string is the flat third, the minor third. Make it major by moving that note up one fret. Move up to the next position for another major triad shape, or another minor triad shape. From the basic minor pentatonic box shape, slide up the third string out of the box, and you get this common double stop sound. Those two notes are the fifth and the flat seventh, fundamental tones in rock and blues. And because on these two strings they're only one fret apart, the fingering works really well. You'll see this shape used in a variety of licks. You can slide into both notes at the same time. Move in and out of that minor pentatonic box. or add a second double stop 2 frets higher. That last lick, one of several common shapes for moving up and down the neck between positions. The app has other examples. Next up, double stops, 2-note shapes that also go up and down the neck. There are several types. I'll start with one of the most common. Take that flat 7th double stop, add 2 more below it, and you get this common pattern of 3 double stops. You can use a bar for the middle one. You play it at the same place on the neck as you play this basic bar chord shape. Example, if you're in C, you're going to be here at the 8th fret. That's where the lick goes. There's other double stop patterns that use the flat 7th, might be on different strings, different places on the neck, but this is one of the most common and easiest to start with. You can play it in open position over an E chord. Add the root note on the 4th string, or change it from major to minor by barring that first double stop also. Using the same fingering as the previous double stops, but using a different pattern and starting at a different place on the neck, you get a different sound. It has the lower notes of the major scale, including the root note, without the flat 7th. Now for this one, you can key off that other basic bar chord shape, the 5th string root. So if I'm in C, I'm here at the 3rd fret. Look at where your little bar is. Move your first finger there, bar over the 2nd and 3rd strings. That's where you start. And you often hear them as slides. Now both this shape and the previous one are part of a larger pattern of double stops that go up and down the neck. The advantage of learning them as smaller shapes that have just a few double stops in them is 1, makes them easier to learn, and 2, you often hear them played that way, like in these examples. You can play it in open position over a G chord, or higher up the neck, or on the top 2 strings instead. These double stop shapes have a string in between that you mute with the finger on the lower string. The interval between the 2 notes is usually a 6th, and so you might hear these referred to as 6ths or even sliding 6ths, because it's common to slide between the double stops. Add another double stop for a chromatic type of sound. Or use the same shapes on the 2nd and 4th string for the same type of sound, but in a different position. There's a few more high-level categories, and there's more than 3 shapes in each category. That's all I had room to show in this video. And each shape has several song examples. So lots of information. Be sure to check out the app on the App Store or Google Play, and please leave a review if you like what you see. Also, as I mentioned, I'll be coming out with a video for each step in the learning path, so be sure to subscribe to my channel to stay updated. I'll leave you with this thought. Someone made a slightly sarcastic comment in my intro video a few years ago that these are just a lot of cliches. There's a grain of truth there. I worked hard to get the most common licks into this app, and these common licks are almost like basic muscle moves for your hand that help get it acclimated to moving around the fretboard. And like the old saying goes, learn the rules first before you start breaking them. Learn what others have said before you, and then start finding your own voice. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.